This episode is brought to you by ElevateOS, the only all-in-one community operating system. ElevateOS transforms property management, combining resident engagement, reservations, rent payments, maintenance, and concierge services into a single super app. It also uniquely integrates access control, intercoms, package lockers, and thermostats, eliminating app fatigue and redefining modern apartment living. Visit elevateos.com/MMN for a free demo and see how they can help you level up your operations.
Welcome to another episode of the Multifamily Collective. Today I wanted to talk about something that I heard yesterday at Apartmentalize, and it was during the general session, the opening of Apartmentalize 2025, where the keynote speaker and several of NAA's leadership, chair and co-chairs made some announcements during that session. And the thing that I was just stunned by and excited by at the same time, and I'm reading a headline now. This was what was talked about yesterday at the general session, but Federal Appeals Court allows landlords' lawsuit over eviction ban to move forward. A lawsuit challenging whether requirements to forego residential evictions can move forward. So there's a legal battle that has been in place back during the pandemic and related to the eviction moratorium that was set in place. And there was a decision that was made on Friday by the U.S. Court of Appeals denying the request for a full court hearing, leaving the door open for landlords and property owners to pursue claims against the federal government unless the Supreme Court intervenes. Now, this goes all the way back to, I believe, the Biden administration, and where they put these eviction moratoriums in place, basically handcuffing landlords from evicting residents who more or less, in a lot of cases, refused to pay their rent. Some, I believe, in my heart of hearts, were just unable to pay rent, but there were bad actors in the system that just lived rent-free for years. And landlords had no recourse, couldn't evict. And so now with this settlement, not this settlement, but this lawsuit and this decision that's been made by the U.S. Court of Appeals, we now have that opportunity to go back and potentially, I read a number yesterday after I heard the story that it was like some $23 billion plus minus that could be at stake here. And landlords that were subject to these eviction moratoriums might have the opportunity to go and reclaim some of those dollars that were lost. This will turn into an interesting thing as it relates to, a lot of those buildings have traded hands now. Do you get to go back and claim that value if you don't own the building now? Do you get to claim that value if you do own the building now? Or you bought that building in the midst of the pandemic and you inherited some of that stuff. It's going to be interesting if this in fact does get upheld and it moves on to the next stage where you'd actually get the opportunity to go and make some claims against this. But I got to tell you, from my perspective, just being in the operator's chair for a very long bit of time, and when this was going on, and watching delinquencies climb, collections decrease as a result of these moratoriums, and the impact that it had at large on the properties, I'm happy about this, and I think many landlords will be happy about this. It doesn't mean that I wasn't. Doesn't mean that I didn't understand some of those moratoriums at the time they were set in place, and the reasons for doing so, but the prolonged nature of them is where it became really frustrating. And that's where I tend to see a silver lining here and a good thing as it relates to property owners and landlords. So that's it. That was a pretty interesting point that came out yesterday. This actually happened on Friday, and I missed it completely in the newsfeed. So there you go. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.